Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dive deep into the nitty-gritty of corporate filings and buckle up because NVIDIA's latest report is a wild ride, like a high-speed chase through a data center. This is NVIDIA's second quarter report for their fiscal year 2026, ending July 27th, 2025. They're telling us all about how they're doing, and let me tell you, it's a story of massive growth, but also some pretty big shifts. First off, let's talk about the top line, the revenue. For the 3 months ending July 27th, 2025, NVIDIA pulled in a staggering $46.7 billion. That's an increase of 56% from the same time last year. And for the first 6 months of the year, they've already raked in over $90 billion. That's nearly double what they did last year. If you're looking at how much they sold 43% more product this year than last. Now, gross profit is what's left after they pay to make their products. They're bringing in $33.8 billion in gross profit for the quarter. That's up a huge 50% from last year. But check out the gross margin. That's the percentage of revenue left after making the product. It dipped to 72.4% this quarter from 75.1% last year. They say this is because they're selling more of their higher end, but also more complex Blackwell systems. Plus they had this big charge last year for some H20 inventory that they couldn't sell to China. Moving down to operating income, which is what they make from their core business after paying for things like research and sales. For the quarter, it's a massive $28.4 billion, up 53% from last year. That means they're making a ton of money on each sale. And the big number everyone wants to know, earnings per share, or how much profit they made for each share of stock. For the quarter, it's $1.08 per share. That's up a whopping 61% from last year. This means their profits are booming, and that's great news for shareholders. Let's break down where this money is coming from. Their compute and networking segment is the star of the show. Revenue here jumped a massive 56% year over year for the quarter, bringing in over $41 billion. This is driven by demand for their AI chips, especially for things like large language models that power chatbots and other smart software. They're even ramping up newer, faster Blackwell chips. Their graphics segment, which includes chips for gaming and professional workstations, also saw strong growth, up 51% year over year to about $5.4 billion. This is thanks to their new Blackwell graphics cards. Now, where are they selling all these chips? The United States is still their biggest market, bringing in over $23 billion for the quarter. But Asia is catching up fast, with Singapore alone contributing over $10 billion. Taiwan is also crucial with nearly $8.5 billion in sales. China, though, is a bit of a mixed bag, with sales dropping from last year. It's also interesting to see that a couple of their direct customers, let's call them Company A and Company B, are huge. Company A accounts for 23% of their total revenue and Company B makes up 16%. This shows how much NVIDIA relies on a few big players, mostly in the cloud computing industry, to drive their sales. Let's talk about liquidity, how much cash they have on hand. NVIDIA has a massive $11.6 billion in cash and equivalents, plus another $45 billion in marketable securities. That's over $56 billion in readily available funds. This is a mountain of cash that gives them a lot of flexibility. And where is all this cash coming from? Their operations are generating a huge amount of cash, over $42 billion for the first 6 months of the year. That's a big jump from last year. They spend a lot on things like research and development and sales, about $544 billion in operating expenses for the quarter, and that's up significantly from last year, mostly because they're hiring more people and spending more on new products. They also have a lot of stock-based compensation, which is basically paying employees with stock, and that's a big chunk of their expenses. Now, it's not all smooth sailing. NVIDIA faces some pretty big risks. A major one is the complex web of government regulations, especially export controls. They mention these export controls multiple times, impacting their ability to sell to China and other countries. For instance, they had to take a huge charge because new rules affected their H20 chips for China. The report also talks about the AI diffusion IFR, which could have restricted sales of their popular data center products worldwide. While the US government is changing some of these rules, the future is uncertain. This regulatory environment is a constant challenge. Another key concern is their strategy of acquiring and investing in other companies. While this can be good for growth, it also comes with risks. Integrating new companies takes time and money, and sometimes these investments don't pay off. It's like a big gamble, and if they make the wrong bets, it could hurt their finances. The rise of AI also brings its own set of risks. The report highlights how open source AI models are becoming more important. If these models become popular on rival platforms, it could weaken NVIDIA's position. They need to keep innovating and supporting the latest AI technologies to stay ahead. Scrolled beverage price paid per share 1. On average, looking at their stock buybacks, they've repurchased a massive 67 million shares in just one quarter, spending over $9.7 billion. They've also just announced a huge new share buyback program worth $60 billion. This is a sign that they believe their stock is a good investment and they want to return value to shareholders. Boaters, right, so what's the story here? NVIDIA is absolutely crushing it when it comes to revenue and profit, especially thanks to the AI boom. Their data center business is booming and they're selling chips faster than they can make them. They have a ton of cash and are returning a lot of it to shareholders through buybacks. However, they are heavily reliant on a few big customers, and the ever-changing global regulations, particularly export controls, present a significant and ongoing challenge. Their aggressive acquisition strategy also carries inherent risks. They are a leader in a quickly evolving industry and need to keep innovating to maintain that edge, especially with the rise of open source AI. What's your take on NVIDIA's latest report? Are you impressed by their growth or worried about the risks? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate finance. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.